Hi friends, and welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. Today's video should be a lot of fun. I hope that you enjoy it and that you give it a try. Now let's get started. Hi friends, welcome to today's video. Today I have 3 sketchbook ideas for you that require no painting, just a pencil, an eraser, some smooth paper, a cotton swab or a stump, and some fine liners, and maybe some washi tape. So you can see here that I'm using my ruler, and you don't even need a ruler to do this, but I am creating a line in the center of the paper horizontally and vertically, and then I'm creating lines going from corner to corner. These will all be very simple. I know they may look difficult, but trust me, they are very simple. You can absolutely do this. So now I'm taking my mechanical pencil and I'm starting at the center and I'm drawing a spiral. And don't worry about it being the same width all the way around. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to take a fine liner and I am going to create shapes following the pencil lines within each of those, I guess, triangles you might call them. And I'm making sure to keep some space in between each of them, as you can see here. Now for this one, I did pull out an Artex acrylic paint pen, but that was me just being extra. You really don't need to do that. And you'll see later on what I'm referring to. So I'm going to continue to fill in the spaces. Now once I'm finished creating those rectangles, triangles, whatever you want to call them, I'm taking the fine liner and I am creating a little bit of shade on one side, and you can see that the corner is rounded and I am tapering it as I go down on the top and the side. And I'm going to keep this shading on the same side of all these shapes. Now the pencil that I'm using later on is in a 10H, I believe. But if you don't have a soft pencil, any pencil you have will do. A regular school pencil will do. And if you don't have the stump that you'll see me using, you can use a cotton swab to do it as well, and I'll demonstrate that for you. Okay, so now once you've created your shading with the marker, I'm using a kneadable eraser to remove my pencil lines, but a regular eraser will do as well. I love creating these dimensional looking drawings. They're so much fun. So now on the same side where I created the shading with the marker, I'm using the pencil and I'm doing the same thing with the pencil that I did with the marker. And I'm going to go around each one of these shapes and create that pencil shading. Now in this video, I only did 3 of these because they do take a little time. So here you see I'm using the cotton swab and I am blending that pencil out into the rest of the area, and now I'm using the stump, but either one works really, really well. Now here is where I use the Artex acrylic marker. I decided I wanted to fill in the area in between those shapes. And of course, this isn't necessary at all. I just wanted a little bit more contrast. I should have waited until I removed the tape to see if I needed it, but it's just what I do. I can never leave well enough alone. So I have two others in this video. The last one is my absolute favorite. I was really amazed at how easy it was and how wonderful it looked. Okay, so let's remove the tape and see how this looks. Oh, I decided, I did use the marker to create a little outline because I didn't want to just have that white square there. But once I removed the tape, I was really happy with the way it looked. And so all there was to do was to clean up my lines and sign it. And here is what the finished drawing looks like. Okay, let's go to number 2. Okay, on to number 2. This one is very similar to the first one. You can see I'm creating the spiral, but I'm wiggling the marker. First, I started out with a pencil, but then I realized you don't need the pencil. You can just do it straight from the start with the fine liner. So now I erased my lines, and now with the fine liner, I am creating another line right beside the first one, and making sure that I keep just a little bit of space in between the two lines. Now I am going to create wiggly X's within that spiral. And of course, you can create whatever shape you like in the center of that spiral. I just liked the X's. It was simple. All right, so now I'm finished with the X's, and I am going to use the fine liner to round the corners of each one of those shapes and then fill in the white area in black. And you're going to do that for all the shapes. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit here because this did take a while. Okay, so now I finished filling in all those spaces, and again I'm using the fine liner to create a thin little border around the edge of the tape. And now I'm taking the pencil and I am going to shade all around one side of that thin line that I created. And then I realized that I missed an area, so I filled that in also. And now I'm going to use the stump, and again you can use a cotton swab, and I'm going to smudge all those pencil lines. And here I'm using the cotton swab so that you can see it does the same thing. Either one will work perfectly, and you can see already how it starts to become dimensional, and the center of this drawing looks to be reaching out to you a little bit. And then I used my eraser to clean up any areas where I went over the line. And now my favorite part, removing the tape. I love this one. But the next one is my absolute favorite. So you can see that these are really simple, and the next one looks complicated, but I promise you it's not. And here's what the finished drawing looks like. Okay, off to number 3 now. Okay, so here we are on number 3. This one is my absolute favorite. I started out by drawing an X and then another X, and making sure that they connected in the center. Now I'm creating, I guess you could call them U-shapes, U-curves in one section. And I'm making sure that they all meet at the top. And then in the next section, I'm going to create the same curves, but only in the opposite direction. And I'm making sure that they connect with the ones that I drew in the previous space. So I'm going to go all around this, I guess, X shape, and I'm going to fill in the areas with the alternating curved shapes, making sure again that they meet at the tip. And you can see I have a little line there, and I just used a little bleed proof white to clean up any extra lines. Now I'm using the marker to fill in every other space, and you can see I marked them so that I don't get confused. But filling it in with the micron pen was taking too long, so I did use my Artex acrylic paint marker to fill in the areas. And using those little marks in the spaces that I needed to fill in black was really helpful, because it could get a little confusing. So you can see I'm almost finished filling in all my spaces. This one didn't take nearly as long as the other two, but again, it was my favorite, and you'll see why in just a moment. Now, because I used the acrylic paint pen, I wanted to make sure that it was completely dry, so I used the blow dryer. And now I'm taking my pencil and I'm adding a little shading where those shapes meet. And I'm making sure that it's narrow in the center, and that then my pencil that I'm adding on there is a little bit broader towards the edge. And where it appears like it's flipping up, I guess you could say, I'm adding a little shading in there also with the pencil. Now I'm taking the stump, but again, you can use a cotton swab, and I'm blending out that pencil. Making sure again that it's tapered towards the center and broader towards the edges. I'm going to continue to blend this pencil out, and in the meantime, I'll remind you that all the products used are listed in the description box. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll always get back to you. I read every single comment and answer every single question. So now I'm blending out the area where it looks like it's kind of flipped up. And look already how good that looks. But wait, there's more. Also, consider joining our Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials, where you can post your versions of the paintings and techniques learned on this channel. I'd love to see what you do. So now I used my eraser and cleaned up any areas that needed to be cleaned up, and then I wanted to define those lines a little bit more, so I went over them again using the micron pen. And now I'm going to use a white gel pen. And you can see that in the center of those shapes, I'm creating a white line. And then I'm tapping it with my finger just to lighten it up a little bit. And again, making sure that it is more narrow and in the center, and then a little bit broader towards the end or the edges, just like we did with the pencil. I love this one. It's giving me a little Beetlejuice vibe. Well, I hope that you enjoyed these sketchbook ideas and that you give them a try. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.